Hello and welcome to Odds on Champions League, second leg of the last 16 round, and of course we have PSG Real Madrid or Real Madrid PSG. Let's analyze all four games with Alvaro, Romeo, Dani, Fisichella, and of course with you. Don't forget to leave your comments and press the like and subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. We are ready to analyze the second leg of this last 16 with Alvaro and Dani. How are you guys?
All very well, thank you.
Let's see if we can nail ACCAs like we did in the previous European match day. So let's start with the first game. We have Bayern Munich, Salzburg, and I think we all thought that it was going to be done by now for this tie. But Salzburg got a draw, and actually even Bayern Munich was lucky with that goal scored by Coman in the last minute. So the question, Dani, is if Salzburg can put a fight again in the Allianz Arena.
They can, and I think they proved time and time again they can score against many teams, and they certainly can score against Bayern. Well, that's what they did in the last 3 times they meet Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Very well organized Salzburg, a team that is aggressive, but at the same time doesn't quite go gung-ho. So, you would expect Salzburg also to take a little bit of a risk-averse approach, maybe in the first half, but they could definitely punish Bayern if they have the chances. And what happened in the first leg is that they couldn't finish off many of the chances they had initially. The record of Salzburg away in the Champions League is not great. Only 1 draw so far this season, 1-1 at Seville, then they lost at Wolfsburg, they lost at Lille, so they're really stronger at home. And only 4 wins in the last 15 away games in European competition. In the previous 3 seasons, they always most of the time they've been knocked out, only won 1 knocked out tie. But it is a team that has got an identity, it's got a structure, and they got very good players. Of course, Adeyemi, he's got the American Aronson. They will be without Okafor, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. And they're a complete. They're on course to win the 9th Austria Bundesliga for them. They won at the weekend 4-0. The bit of a rest as well. Adeyemi and Aronson came on the second half in a 4-0 win against Altak. So yes, I mean for them, this is a little bit of a bonus game, if you like, but they will approach it thinking they still have a chance because Bayern are far from perfect this season. We're looking at a Salzburg that comes, 17 of 22 league games, won at the Adeyemi, 14 goals in 20 appearances. They were impressive. Let's see, they will continue with the high press. We know that Salzburg is a team that presses high. They commit a lot of foul in the opposition half. They recover a lot of ball in the opposition half. It's a team that, after all, has managed to attack more than Juventus, Man United, Atletico, PSG in this Champions League. So I would expect them to go to pose a threat, perhaps maybe starting a little bit cautious in the first half. For this reason, I think, yes, of course, Bayern favorite to qualify, but I would go for a double chance in the first half, which is the X2 that pays really well, 243.
We have to be creative to find good odds, actually, because Bayern Munich, Alvaro, they are super favorites, 1.23, but as Dani was saying, they are far from being perfect, especially in the last weeks and even in the Bundesliga. No, we saw a draw against Bayer Leverkusen, but this weekend. But not only that, they are conceding against every single team, basically.
They are, and you really have to wonder if this is because they are not pushing the accelerator in the Bundesliga, and then when they play the Champions League, they will show a different face. That's something that we still don't know. The truth is that against Salzburg, they managed to survive, because I believe that they were playing with fire in that game. it was a very entertaining game, that one, with plenty of counterattacks. I mean, if you had to have the epitome of Austrian and German football, probably it was that Bayern versus Salzburg. It was beautiful. And Adamo scored first, and then Coman scored in the 90th minute. Well, Bayern did what they had to do over there. Now they just have to win at home to wrap it up and to go to the quarterfinals. And I believe that they are going to do it, yes. I think that Bayern, they are not perfect defensively. And there is another thing that probably puzzles me more, is the fact that Bayern is not scoring a lot of goals as of late. In fact, in the last 5 games, they have scored 9 goals. But in the 5 games before, they scored 16. You know, there is a little bit of a pattern there. But I believe that this could be corrected. Also, I think that the absentees haven't helped at all. Alphonso Davies, he's got a heart condition. He's not gonna play probably this season anymore. I think that Goretzka is very important in midfield, and Bayern has been missing him as well because Marcel Sabitzer, he's still adapting to the team, and he doesn't offer the physicality of Goretzka at all. Then Neuer is so important for Bayern because not only he's a better goalkeeper than the second goalkeeper of Bayern, Ulreich, but he's also setting the defense better. Let's see if Neuer can feature for this game, because he resumed training last week and he's ready to return very soon. So let's see if Neuer comes back. That could be a booster for Bayern, definitely. You know, I think that Bayern is favored for this game. They always field a lot of strikers. For example, against Leverkusen on Saturday, they played with Müller, with Coman, with Gnabry, with Lewandowski, and with Musiala. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And yet, they scored only 1 goal. So my concern with Bayern is that they aren't scoring a lot lately. I say this again, but I believe that this could happen from one day. This could change from one day to another. I've seen that happening with Bayern too, and I believe that it could happen this time. As you say, Edu, you have to be creative to find a very good odds. That's why I'm going to give you very marginal win odds, because I think that for this game, this is what you have to go for. Then in Inter Liverpool, you will find a tremendous value for your bet. But here, I will go for the following, and these are only suggestions, but I think that all of them are quite reasonable. For example, the halftime, full-time market, backing Bayern to win the first half and to keep the lead or to keep the win in the second half, that pays 160. Bayern to score in both halves, 157. And I have said that they are not scoring that many lately in the last 5 games, but this can change, and this will change. I'm pretty sure about that. Asian handicap -1 in the second half for Bayern. I like that one too, 183. And over 1.5 goals in the second half, 151. So as you can see, there is a range of odds. None of them are doubling up your bet, but maybe if you want to get the best money, or at least my best suggestion to get the good money, is an Asian handicap -1 in the second half for Bayern, 183.
I think I found another one that is quite valuable. I will leave it for the ACCA. It would be the both to score market, I think, in a high scoring game with Bayern. And as I said, we said many times before, with the defense, Upamecano and Sule not properly adapting. I think still, you know, it's not a great chemistry. I think you could go on both to score game. I mean, all the last 3 games between Salzburg and Bayern have been high scoring. Well, 1-1, but there were plenty of chances that were both to score as well.
Plenty of chances. It's miraculous that that game didn't end 3-3 4-3.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Ulreich made a couple of very good saves, by the way. Of course, we all miss Manuel Neuer, but Ulreich is a great goalkeeper. Very interesting this class. JC and Nagelsmann, also a good class in the bench. Both very stylish. We saw them pretty elegant in the first leg. We are gonna be entertained for sure by Bayern and by Leipzig, and it's also gonna be very interesting, the next one, Liverpool-Inter. I'm looking forward to listening to your odds, Alvaro, because you said that you find a lot of value in this Liverpool-Inter. The odds for Liverpool to win, they are higher, 1.62, and probably we are talking right now about the best team, or the top 3 teams in the continent right now. They are on fire, as they are showing every single week in the FA Cup, in the Premier League. Whereas for Inter, good for them that they score 5 against Salernitana after some goals without finding the net. Alvaro, where did you find the good odds here?
Well, I'm going to apologize to Daniele because we all know that Daniele is a tifosi of Inter, tifoso. And the truth is that here, I think Liverpool is going to get the better of them. I believe that Liverpool is in a great moment. To start with, Liverpool depend on their own results to win the Premier League after Manchester City dropped points against the Spurs a week ago. This is very important because it has changed the scenario completely for Liverpool. So in the Premier League, they are there. They just have to win the game they've got left and then beat Manchester City, and then they depend on their own results to win the Premier League. It's better than 3 weeks ago, certainly.
Not easy.
Then,
Not easy.
Yeah, but you have to beat Man City away. I mean, come on.
No, but what I said is unquestionable. Nobody can question what I said. Liverpool depends on their own results to win the Premier League, and 2 weeks ago they didn't. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup last week. Liverpool, they are in the FA Cup in the quarterfinals after having rotated massively. And in the Champions League, they beat Inter, not comfortably, but they beat them professionally at San Siro, professionally. Liverpool has a very big difference from last season. It's the fact that this season, Jurgen Klopp has a profligacy of players. He can rotate a lot, not only in defense, but also the likes of Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Luis Diaz. They are playing, two of them are youngsters, and they are playing some games. Luis Diaz, his adaptation to the Premier League has been perfect. And suddenly Liverpool has the usual suspects, Firmino, Salah and Mane. Then they've got Jota, who's already better than Firmino probably. They've got Luis Diaz and Harvey Elliott up front. Minamino scored 2 goals against Norwich. So the options are there. And this is something that Liverpool didn't have last season. This is why I believe that Liverpool is one of the best teams in Europe, because little by little they have strengthened the squad to this point. And I know that in the weekend they beat West Ham United. They suffered a little bit because West Ham had really good chances. But at the same time, Liverpool, I think that they are better than Inter at this stage. They've got more rhythm, they've got more solid foundations at the back, they've got a better goalkeeper, then up front they score more goals. Inter, let's don't forget that before scoring 5 against Salernitana, they were going through a very rough scoring drought. So I'm going to go for the following. Liverpool to win, 162, fine. You can call that marginal win, you can call that an intelligent win, you can call it profit. But what about an Asian handicap -1 for Liverpool? That doubles up what you are putting on your bet. That pays 2. But I'm going for the Asian handicap -1.5 for Liverpool. That pays 260. And that is slightly better because if they win by 2, you win. And if they win by 1, you lose. But I believe that Liverpool can beat, for example, Inter Milan 2-0 again. And then the Asian handicap -1.5 for Liverpool will be a successful bet.
I think what you said is right. I mean, obviously, Liverpool are in a different category from Inter. We saw it after the 65th minute of the first leg when Liverpool put on the pitch Luis Diaz, Henderson and Keita. They changed the game. Look, I think we can make a comparison a little bit like with the NBA, with the European basketball. And I'm talking here about the fact that in the Premier League there are 3 substitutions, and in European competitions there are 5 substitutions. For a team like Liverpool, it's obviously an advantage when you can play in Europe. Obviously, if you have to have a deep squad and everyone fit and put five substitutions in, whereas in the league you only used to 3. Why the NBA comparison? You know, the line for 3 points in the NBA is a little bit further away from what is in Europe. That's why, you know, European players go and play there, sometimes they do struggle with it. It is still the same sport, it's still the same rules, but the parameters are slightly different. And I think these 5 substitution rules has helped Liverpool. It's not the only reason why they've beaten Inter, of course. They've beaten Inter because they are better players. Although Inter got a lot of praise for the chances they created, you know, Çalhanoğlu hit the bar, Dzeko missed a good chance. Maybe we were talking about a different game had they gone in. But in the end, the quality has shown. And for Inter, when they faced Liverpool, they were going through the very bad spell. We'll see if they are still in a bad spell. They beat Salernitana the weekend, 5-0, 3 goals from Lautaro, 2 goals from Dzeko. But I wouldn't read too much into it. Salernitana are a Serie B team. Inter, the problem this year they're having, and they had this in the last month, is that there's been a lack of physical intensity. I think some of the key players, Brozovic, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, De Vrij, had a dip in form, but also there's been a dip of mental intensity. And maybe Inter lost their head in the derby a month ago. They were playing so well against Milan. They could have gone 2-0 up, maybe even 3-0 up. They missed the chances, and then Giroud scored a couple, and they lost the certainty that they have, and alongside a physical condition that is not sharp. But now Inter got players coming back. They got Gosens, who will play a few minutes. They got Correa coming back, and they got the confidence back for having beaten Salernitana. Let's see what they do. I think Inter obviously will try to play their own football. They won't think they just sit back and defend, but maybe they can take inspiration from what West Ham did at the weekend. We know Liverpool play a very high line. They can try and hit a few balls over the top. The difference is that in Premier League we saw what real pace and what real quick players are. I don't think in Italy we are used to cope with quick players as quick as Van Dijk and Konate, etc. That's where Inter sometimes struggle. Plus, they miss the player that perhaps would have been more influential in this game, and they missed it also in the first leg, which is Nicolo Barella. He's the more dynamic, the midfielder, the one who can do runs from behind. They can hit passes, done 11 assists in Serie A, top assist man with Berardi, many assists for Lautaro as well. So, in an Inter team where Dzeko is coming a lot towards the ball, and he almost playing like an additional midfielder, and Lautaro within the box is not as deadly as other key strikers are. It's not as deadly as Mane or Salah or Jota. Inter could struggle there, I think, to find a goal, and that's why they struggle. But it could be a high-scoring game. I think Inter will go there not to be heavily beaten. They try to go there to nick a goal and restore their confidence, which will help them in the Serie A. That's why my preferred bet for this one will be an over. You could go for over 2.5 goals. Doesn't pay extremely well, so I'm going to leave it for the ACCA. If you want something a little bit more valuable, over 1.5 goals in the second half. That pays 190.
Any chance for Inter, Dani, or no way?
I always have to give 1% of a chance. It will be daft to say 0% of a chance. Everyone has a chance. If Inter scores early, it could be game on. But Liverpool unbeaten at home since 29 games. Last team to beat them at home was Atalanta last year. But they were without Van Dijk, and he was in the group stages. So, yeah, let's give Inter 1% chance. Liverpool all through, I think.
Thing is that Inter lately in Europe, they have been far from a European superpower. I mean, when was the last time they played the Champions League semi-finals? Probably in 2011 with Benitez.
No,
with 2011 with Benitez, with
Leonardo.
Bayern, I believe.
With Leonardo, and then they play Schalke. But I think Alvaro, that in the race to be to the elite, the last few steps of the ladder are the most difficult to do. So, I mean, because now we are talking about Liverpool being in the top 3, top 4 of Europe. Maybe Inter are in the top 12, 15 of Europe, but to climb the ladder, the last few steps are the hardest one. So, there is a golfing difference, of course.
Well, Liverpool favorite, Bayern Munich favorite. What to say about the next game? Difficult to find good odds here. Of course, Manchester City, Sporting, remember 0-5 in the first leg, and still Guardiola was not happy with what he saw in Lisbon. Probably is the classic Guardiola thing, trying to praise and to say good things about Sporting. Dani, I guess we will see many rotations, no, for Guardiola also to this game, because as Alvaro was saying before, Manchester City have their eyes in the Premier League. Where do you find good odds here? It's difficult.
It is difficult, and when we talk about rotation, depends what Pep Guardiola can do, because he got a few injuries. Really, they got only 14, 15 players available in the derby against Man United. He had to take 3 youngsters to the bench. Maybe we'll see some of them, because they were without Ruben Dias for 6 weeks. They're without Nathan Ake. Kyle Walker is suspended for the red card he picked up at Leipzig. So, Manchester City might have a problem of formation. Obviously, this is a bonus game for them, and in the season of these top teams, it happened very few times that you have a bonus game. So I would imagine Pep Guardiola doing the rotation, because now they play Palace the next game. The champion, the Premier League is heavily contested. They got the FA Cup. He'll have to rest players. But even when they make rotation, and with rotation I mean maybe Jesus starting. He hasn't started many games. He come from an injury. Sterling starting, but they made it look so easy. Manchester City, they made it look so easy. Lisbon, they made it look so easy against Manchester United. The ability to come to the byline and put crosses in, they just they almost seems to do no effort. But obviously there is a lot of effort, and there is a lot of preparations there. The chemistry between Grealish and Foden, something that obviously they've been working on a lot. They score a lot of goals. They scored 51 goals in the last 17 games, conceding 11. It was the first clean sheet though at Lisbon of the Champions League campaign. In Champions League this season they conceded more goals. They already conceded 10 goals, which is 5 more than last season when they arrived to the final. Last season they were almost spotless in the Champions League. This season a couple more goals, but again that could be done due to the fact that they were in a very, very difficult group. So, that obviously paid the price for the group stages with PSG, with Leipzig, with Bruges. Unbeaten Man City in 17 home games, 16 wins, 1 draw. They are the top scorers of the Champions League with 23, third for attempts on target. So, all these stats can suggest it could still be a high-scoring game. It could still be an over 2.5 goals if you like. But again, let's see what kind of mindset Sporting Lisbon has. Finding the value for this one is difficult, but considering the numbers, considering the absentees, considering Sporting Lisbon, again, they are far from the elite of the Champions League, but is a team that can score against you, both to score, 223.
And Sporting Lisbon also, since they are out already of the Champions League, they have to put their eyes in the Portuguese competition. They are 3 points away from Porto. So we are not sure, no, Alvaro, if we are going to see the best out of these 2 teams. 6 points, you say? Because Porto played later.
Yeah, I think it's 6 points again. That's the thing. It's a little bit of an endless loop for Sporting Lisbon, because they've been trying to cut that deficit, but Porto can't stop winning in Portugal, and that's why it's 6 points again. And I believe that Sporting Lisbon comes into this game with less confidence than to the first game. Why? Number one, because obviously they got heavily defeated against Manchester City. 5-0 was a very comprehensive scoreline, and also because they lost to Porto in the Cup a few days ago. So, I think that this team probably they are just getting into this stage of the competition, knowing that the league is their only kind of feasible competition to win a title this season. But at the same time, Porto is pretty much relentless making points and getting the points, and it's very difficult to get them. So maybe this is not the best moment for Sporting Club de Portugal. They got, by the way, a new president, or the same president has been re-elected, Frederico Varandas, just for the trivia for you guys. And then I believe that Manchester City, as Daniele said, they've got a little bit of a depleted squad right now, because I think that Liverpool and Chelsea squads are stronger than Manchester City at this moment, due to the injuries, due to the fact that they lost Ferran Torres, they sold him, Benjamin Mendy, because we know that he's facing many trial cases, and he's going to be sentenced very likely. And what was the other striker that they lost? I can't remember now, but they lost another striker last summer, and they didn't replace him. So yeah, they don't have as many options as up front.
But they lost Aguero, obviously.
Agüero,
They lost Aguero,
exactly.
yeah, of course.
Agüero and Ferran Torres, and they only brought Jack Grealish, but Jack Grealish is a worse scorer than Ferran Torres and El Kun Agüero. So over there, Manchester City maybe is not having a lot of options up front. Still, they are a terrific team. There is no saying no to that. But I think that Manchester City, this game, you said something about Guardiola before, Edu, that he was always praising the opponents, even though Manchester City was beating them heavily. But I believe that this kind of message is the message that he is sending out in the locker room. Because if you think about it, Manchester City never has, with Guardiola, stupid defeats. In fact, the teams of Guardiola, Bayern, Barcelona, Manchester City, they don't lose against second division teams. They don't have like a quick upsets in the cups. I think Manchester City's or Guardiola's secret is that normally he's taking every game very seriously and he's sending out that message to the players. The message that he's sending to the press, he's sending that to the players. Then, whether the players believe it or not, it's another story. But so far, they've been believing it because Manchester City has been very successful in the domestic cups year after year. And I think that in the Champions League for this game, they are not going to slack off at all. I mean, if I am sure about something, is that Manchester City is going to take this game seriously, and they are going to put at least a good fight. So I believe that Manchester City are going to win it. And in fact, I'm going to back what Daniele said before, or at least I'm going to flag it again, both teams to score the best value is there, of course, 243. But, I prefer to stick to some other values. For example, Asian handicap, -2 for Manchester City, less money, 179. Or Asian handicap -1 in the first half. That pays 210. And that is exactly what they did against Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, when they got it all wrapped up in the first half. So Asian handicap -1 in the first half, 210.
Well, Guardiola always plays rival teams, no? Also, if they are even in the second or third division, we are used to see that, and probably you are right. This is the way he motivates his teams, and for sure is successful. So the three, actually, if we check the outright market for winning the Champions League in Oddspedia, we have Man City, the biggest favorite, then Liverpool, then Bayern Munich. We have analyzed all three, and the fourth one is PSG, but this one is more open. Real Madrid, PSG, what a tie. We saw a very disappointing Real Madrid, very defensive Real Madrid in the Parc des Princes, for sure. We are going to see another story at Bernabeu. The game is being already cheered up and long awaited by the Real Madrid supporters since they lost that 1-0, scoring in the very last minute Mbappe. The problem, Alvaro, is also that Ancelotti is going to miss some key players, Casemiro, Mendy, Kroos. What kind of game do you expect here? Can you see a remontada of Real Madrid?
Well, a remontada, maybe
yes.
The thing is that they need, rather than a remontada, they need a win. I think that a win will do. Just 1-0, 2-1 will do for them, at least to take it to the extra time. It's a real shame. I'm really annoyed that these players are missing, because Real Madrid is a totally different team without Casemiro. Then Ferland Mendy as a fullback, he's a safer option than anyone else. Probably Nacho will play there, right? I'm thinking, because Marcelo, is he ready to play in this high-profile game?
Oh no,
I really don't think
no,
so.
please.
No, please. And then Casemiro is missing, and if Toni Kroos is missing, then there will be a couple of questions. Who is going to be the holding midfielder, or the number 5, as the Argentinians call that player? Will it be Valverde, who suffered from flu last week, and he's going to be playing this game, but maybe he's not 100% fit, if you understand me, because he went through an illness last week. Will it be Camavinga? Camavinga cannot play there, right? Camavinga is more mobile.
Better option Valverde, yeah.
Valverde, yeah. Luka Modric, I wouldn't put Luka Modric as the defensive midfielder. I think Luka Modric has to be playing wherever he wants in his usual position, because he does that fantastically. So the midfield is going to be a problem for Real Madrid. I wouldn't risk Toni Kroos though, because at the Parc des Princes, Real Madrid risked Benzema, and Benzema didn't really do much, because he was still coming back from his injury. So I would play with energy. I think Real Madrid against Real Sociedad played with energy, with Camavinga, and who scored a beautiful goal, Luka Modric in midfield. I think that energy is going to be very important in this game, because PSG obliges you to run back a lot, because when they counter-attack, they are very dangerous. So if you have Camavinga and Fede Valverde, then you can rest assured that Messi, Mbappé, Neymar, they are going to be chased back. So I could be playing with energy. For this game, look, I think that PSG was a million times better than Real Madrid at Parc des Princes, and yet I believe that Real Madrid can be better than PSG, because PSG domestically, this weekend, they lost again. And domestically, they are really disappointing. I mean, they are just winning games by inertia. Mbappé is pretty much winning all the games for them. And yes, I know that PSG has a tremendous attacking force. Messi hasn't scored many goals this season, yes. But any day he could switch on and score goals again. Mbappé, he's the best player in the world. Neymar, we all know that Neymar at Bernabeu has done good games as well. But yet, I'm going to back Real Madrid probably. Real Madrid to win 262. I'm going to back them because I believe that Real Madrid has that in them. 262, Real Madrid to win. I like what they did against Real Sociedad. But if you want to go for something more conservative, I really encourage you to go for Asian Handicap 0 for Real Madrid. That pays 196. And of course, marginal wins here. Both teams to score 158. Those will be my 3 bets.
It depends how PSG is set up and how Real Madrid is set up as well, because we were expecting Real Madrid to press PSG a little bit higher in the first leg, and they didn't. They sat back and allowed the pacey strikers to come onto the pitch. I feel to come into the box, as Mbappé did in the second half a lot. I feel if Neymar would not have come on in the first leg, it would have ended 0-0, because it was Neymar who supplied most of the balls to Mbappé in a dangerous position. Now, what happens with PSG is that they do struggle a lot domestically against a very organized team. For example, at the weekend they played Nice, coached by Galtier, who won the league last year with Lille. Is a very well-oiled defense. They press them high. They are organized. PSG were missing Mbappé, and in fact, not only they lost, they only touched the ball 13 times in the opposition box, which is a record low touches for PSG since 2 years. They only had eight shots in the game, again, their lowest total. And, after all, they conceded an avoidable goal at the end, which PSG, they've been a little bit... they seem a little bit complacent sometimes when they play in the league. They lost the last 2 away games, actually, in Ligue 1. They lost to Nantes as well. They haven't got such a watertight defense. Actually, Nice conceded 3 less goals than PSG, 21 against 24. But in a game in the Champions League, if Real Madrid press them high, if Real Madrid needs to go for the win and leave space in behind, that's where the pace of Mbappe and Neymar could really hurt them, similar to what happened to Barcelona a year ago when they were going for the win and left a lot of space for Mbappé to run in behind. PSG is full of good players, we know, it's full of good midfielders, but it's also about...
Only one for me.
Verratti. Only Verratti.
For me.
Well,
I mean,
Wijnaldum
touched the ball less than 30 times the other day against Leeds. He
had a poor game, but I think Verratti, under Herrera, is probably not going to be available there. But you got players like Marquinhos as well. Paredes, Hakimi, we don't know whether he's gonna play or not. It is a team that, again, I said, he hasn't really set the world on fire this season as we were expecting. Actually, as we look at the stats of PSG in Champions League, is a team that hasn't got many shots on target, hasn't produced many attacks. He has spent most time perhaps kind of defending in their own half or not being really fretful. 5 clean sheets in the last 8 for PSG. They only last 3 since November. But as I said, yes, they lost the last 2 away games. I'm still not convinced Real Madrid can really play the aggressive high intensity game. But I know Real Madrid has a good defense, and maybe the beginning could be a little bit cagey. For this reason, I could go for a first half draw, 238.
Well, one thing we know for sure is that Real Madrid have a very good defense, because in the first leg they didn't attack, and was Militao and Alaba holding the team, and Courtois, of course. Alvaro?
But Edu, I will be a little bit worried about Carvajal's form. The other day, he gave a good pass to Marco Asensio in Real Madrid's goal, but he conceded another penalty. Yeah, and he is the one marking Mbappe. That's the thing.
Yeah. We saw that penalty actually so many times, the one that he committed in the first leg. And you're right, it's going to be great. If we check the odds, Real Madrid is slightly favorite, but pretty much is the same. It's going to be great for sure. And I'm already nervous to see this Real Madrid PSG. Then this is it. All 4 games analyzed. And everyone, of course, is expecting your ACCA guys. So let's start with you, Dani.
Okay, 4 games as always. I'm just going to say that preemptive. The odds are not massively high. Steve Alvaro can do better. Bayern Munich, RB Salzburg, both to score. Liverpool, Inter, over 2.5 goals. Same for Manchester City Sporting, over 2.5 goals. Real Madrid, PSG, both to score. Total odds, 7.26.
It's not easy to find good odds in this week in the Champions League. Alvaro, yours?
Very similar to Daniele in terms of quantity. Bayern Salzburg, over 1.5 goals in the second half. Asian handicap -1 for Liverpool. Liverpool to win. I told you before that I did like the Liverpool Inter game. And City to score in both halves. That pays 7.97.
This is it. Okay, hopefully we find better odds in the Europa League. Thank you, guys. Let's enjoy the Champions League then.
Ciao, Edu. Enjoy. See you soon.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy the videos. Now you have your tips and predictions for this new match day. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Tell me your tips and your prediction for Real Madrid PSG. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notifications. And if you prefer, remember, we have a podcast for you. Thanks for watching.